The day of the bombs. The day of the bombs was a day like no other. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was just a young child, no more than 5 or 6, when I heard the loud boom of the bombs dropping. The ground shook beneath my feet, sending shockwaves through my body. I remember running to my parents, who had already been gathering our things in preparation for the bombs. We all huddled together in our small apartment, hoping and praying that the bombs would not reach us. But it was too late. In an instant, the world changed. The radiation from the bombs had changed us all. I could sense it in my veins and my bones. In the days and weeks that followed, I started to feel different. I didn't know it at the time, but I had become a ghoul. At first, I was scared and confused. I didn't understand what was happening to me. My parents tried to explain, but it all seemed so surreal. I was no longer the same person that I had been before the bombs. I had changed, and I was no longer human. As the years passed, I started to adjust to my new life as a ghoul. I learned to cope with the radiation and the effects it had on my body. I also learned to use my new abilities to my advantage. I could see in the dark, and I had heightened senses. I could also sense the presence of other ghouls, and I could communicate with them. It was strange, but it was also exciting. I had been given a second chance at life, and I was determined to make the most of it. I was no longer a helpless child, but a powerful creature with the ability to survive in a world that had been turned upside down. I kept a diary of my life as a ghoul, recording my thoughts and experiences of the day of the bombs and the years that followed. I wrote down everything I learned about being a ghoul, and the strange new world I inhabited. I also wrote about the people I met, and the adventures I had. I also wrote about how I felt. I wrote about how lonely it was to be a ghoul, and how it was difficult to find acceptance in a world that had been changed so drastically. I wrote about the fear I felt when I encountered other ghouls, and the joy and excitement I felt when I met other humans who accepted me for who I was. I wrote about the happiness I felt when I found a place to call home, and the sadness I felt when I had to leave it. I wrote about the pain I felt when I was reminded of the life I had before the bombs, and the hope I felt when I realized that I could still make something of my life. I wrote about the days and years that followed, and how I continued to grow and learn as a ghoul. I wrote about how I made friends and found love, and how I eventually found a way to make peace with my new life. My diary was my way of making sense of the world around me, and of understanding who I was and how I fit into it. It was a way for me to stay connected to my human self, and to remember that I was still alive. The day of the bombs was the day my life changed forever, but it was also the day I found my true self. I was no longer a helpless child, but a powerful being with the ability to survive in a world that had been turned upside down. I was a ghoul, and I was proud of it. Yay, the end. Oh right, yeah, I have to do this stuff now. Like, comment and subscribe. And please watch my other videos and comment ideas on stories.